The GSD says that despite being Gibraltar's #1 tourist attraction, with added investment recently, the government is failing in the basics of keeping the Upper Rock area clean and tidy.
At the moment there appears to be no cleaning regime at all, and the area is just being allowed to fester, if you like. It's getting worse and worse and worse day by day, and it really is horrible. That's what we're presenting our tourists, and it's not good enough. That's the impression that people will go away from Gibraltar with a dirty environment.
Well, when GBC has made inquiries in the past, we've been told that cleaning does take place on a daily basis, but also this is the height of the tourist season, and tourists themselves come and leave a lot of mess behind as well. So it's a sort of a difficult time of the year, perhaps, to judge.
I would certainly dispute that cleaning takes place on a daily basis, because you see areas where the same litter has been there for month after month. I come up here to the Upper Rock with some frequency, and you see the same piles of rubbish. So I don't think it's fair to say, or true to say, that there is a cleaning regime taking place on a daily basis. And sure, when it's most popular, we may get more littering, but it needs to be dealt with. It cannot be ignored. We need both enforcement of the law, but we need to tidy up afterwards. We cannot allow it just to disintegrate into a terrible condition.
The opposition is also critical of the quality and supply of water for the macaques in the Upper Rock, saying the stagnant drinking holes give a strong impression of neglect.
Well, there are a number of ponds here on the Upper Rock, a number of man-made pools that have been created. One reason for doing that was actually to ensure that the monkeys had all the facilities they needed, and that they would therefore stay in the Upper Rock and not wander into town and cause the kind of havoc that they have historically in town. So these watering holes are very important, and it seems that they, for whatever reason, whether there's a technical problem or whether there's just a lack of interest, I don't know, but there does seem to be an issue with the replacement of the water in those watering holes. They're not being kept fresh. Obviously, once the water stagnates, the monkeys aren't interested in drinking it, and the monkeys themselves do need water. There are very few areas where you can find natural water on the Upper Rock, so the monkeys need to be looked after in that respect.
But have you scientifically tested the quality of that water?
No, of course not. My evidence, if you like, is anecdotal, but it's clear that who would drink water of that? I appreciate animals may have a different standard than people in terms of the water they drink, but once the water stagnates, it is bad, it is awful, and it needs to be replaced. Above everything else, tourists and visitors come to see the macaques, and we need to set a very high standard in the way we look after them, in order that, again, people don't go away with the impression that we're not looking after our animals.
You say your information is anecdotal, but have you not spoken to any members of the upper management team to get their take on the situation?
I've not, but I am in touch with various people who have a keen interest in the environment, and we can see it on social media. This is an issue that has sprung up, and there are many people in Gibraltar who have a very keen interest in the environment, who monitor this situation even more frequently than I do, and have themselves expressed some very severe concerns. And I think it's right that I echo those concerns and that something be done about this.
After speaking to Trevor Hammond, I decided to drive further up the rock with my cameraman to see if we could film some of the areas the GSD describes as neglected, dirty and full of litter. There was barely any rubbish in sight as we headed up to St Michael's Cave, where I asked a taxi driver for his opinion.
I've been a taxi driver from 1994, and the state the monkeys are now, they've never been like this. They've put water, they've put ponds, and the ponds, the one I see there is not working, the pumps are not working, they're always the same. They're feeding the monkeys at the top, and there's another pack there now, and the monkeys have come down, and these monkeys have no food and no water. They've put a few buckets, but they're not doing very well. So the monkeys are not in a very good state now. From 1994, it's the worst time I've seen the monkeys for the moment. No?
Driving up to St Michael's Cave, the roads were pretty clean. In fact, I would almost say spotless. And we've come up here to a tourist hotspot, and apart from the odd bottle and a bit of plastic, which one of the monkeys was playing with, again, it's pretty clean.
I continued my journey up the rock, passing lay-bys and picnic areas, but I still could not find any areas covered in litter, apart from one tiny spot.
Well, we've come all the way up to O'Hara's Battery, and apart from the odd plastic bottle here and there, we've actually seen very little evidence of the kind of litter that's been reported to us.
We came across one of the drinking holes used by the macaques. The pump wasn't working, but there was plenty of water nevertheless.
The messages we've received today have been pretty mixed. Up here where the monkeys eat and drink, we can see evidence of fresh food that has been recently laid out for them, and there is water in the pool, although the pump doesn't appear to be working. And the monkeys themselves, well, they seem pretty happy.
And we filmed 2 more watering holes at Ape's Den, where the pump and filters were clearly working. If there are areas in the upper rock covered with litter and monkeys that are abandoned, as the opposition has claimed, I certainly didn't find them. In a statement, the government says it's improved the upper rock almost beyond recognition and refutes the opposition's claim that the cleaning regime is unsatisfactory. It adds, unlike during the GSD era, when only 1 drinking pool was available for the macaques, this government has established a network of ponds and points out that the green algae is perfectly natural and not harmful to wildlife. Nevertheless, the government says all the ponds are equipped with pumps and filters, and although it admits one is broken, a replacement is on the way, and in the meantime the water there is being changed more frequently. Number 6 says although photos on social media show monkeys drinking from swimming pools in urban areas, this is because they're being opportunistic, given that they tend to roam more in the summer months. The government says the new cleaning contract starts on the 1st of September. And when this happens, says Minister for the Environment, Dr. John Cortez, the upper rock will look even better. Not that any of today's tourists appeared to be complaining.